when you're willing to engage in two-way. Hi, Nelson. What's up, sir?
Not too much. I just wanted to give you a perspective from maybe the liberal point of view that you hadn't considered when talking about the Occupy Wall Street protesters.
Uh-huh.
Well, they are all a group of disorganized ideas. There's no way that they're going to come together, with a focused message, because they're seeing their problems from so many different perspectives.
I don't want a focused message. I want a message that's rational, even if it's 100 messages. Give me one that's rational and makes some sense.
You don't think human rights are rational?
Okay, define human rights.
The human rights are the necessary things that we need to exist. We have a right to shelter. We have a right to.
Whoa! What do you mean you have a right? Let's just start with your first one. What do you mean you have a right to shelter?
Everyone deserves to have something.
No. Wait a minute. You went from rights to deserves. Tell me about your right to shelter.
So you want a semantic differentiation?
No, I don't. I want you to tell me. Well, let me ask you some questions, since you don't seem to be able to enunciate your philosophy on a right to shelter. Okay, what would this shelter consist of?
4 walls and climate control.
Okay, where do the 4 walls come from?
I missed the roof.
Okay, where do the 4 walls and the roof come from?
I don't understand your question.
Do you snap your fingers and they appear out of thin air?
No, of course not.
Okay, where do they come from?
I suppose they come from people who build the houses.
Oh, really? And so you have a right to demand that these people build you houses. Is that it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what do they have to expend in order to build you a house?
What do the builders have to extend in order to build
somebody, first of all, somebody has to supply the materials. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, how do they acquire the materials they are going to supply you?
Okay, they're going to have to acquire them, I suppose, through some sort of manufacturing process where the materials are made.
They'll either have to buy them or they'll have to produce them themselves, right?
Yes.
Now, if they produce those materials themselves, that is going to take a certain, let's just say, a certain number of heartbeats. We all only have a certain number of heartbeats. It may be billions, but we all... Okay, so they're going to have to expend a portion of their life manufacturing those materials, right?
Yes.
And you have a right to that portion of their life. Is that right?
I would say, if we're going to go that far, sure.
Okay,
yes.
So you have now said that you have a human right to a portion of another person's life.
Right.
Now, I want you to tell me, how much of that person's life do you have a right to?
I suppose it depends on the need.
In other words, you have a human right to as much of another person's life as you need, right?
Yes.
I don't have to say anything more to you.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. Well, I guess we just disagree. But you are saying that people who have nothing deserve nothing.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I am saying you do not have a right to any... There is, in fact, under our system of laws, and I know you're not fond of rule of law, you're a rule of mob kind of guy, okay? But under our system of laws, there is only one circumstance in which you have a right to a portion of another person's life.
And that system is?
That's if you're charged with a crime and you demand a jury trial. That's provided for in the Constitution. That is the only situation in which you have a legally enforceable claim against a portion of some other person's life.
So what about a person's money? Someone who is pathologically hoarding, I guess we're not going to use cash because that's incorrect, but pathologically hoarding capital.
How does one hoard capital?
If you have investments in all of the bonds and all the things that you were speaking about earlier.
Yeah.
I'm not an economist. I can't pretend
kidding.
intelligently about that. But
but you're a psychologist. You're not an economist. Why don't you define the term pathologically hoarding?
I'd say keeping to an extent in which it is unhealthy to the world around you or your world. Deliberate.
Oh, in other words, there is a limit to which a person should be allowed to invest in new technology. There is a limit to which a person should be allowed to invest in new business ventures. There is a limit to which a person should be allowed to invest in entrepreneurship.
Maybe there should be a limit to the amount of money returned from all of those investments over, I don't know, a 10-year period.
So you're calling for a limit on how much money somebody should be able to make.
Yeah, I guess that sounds right.
Really? And what should that limit be?
I think that $10 million a year is too much. I think that $1 million a year is too much.
You think $1 million a year is too much? Okay, so let's say that you are an entrepreneur. You own, I don't know what you own. I'm just going to use crystal franchises because I love crystals. I don't know if you love crystals or not.
I do.
Let's say that you own crystal franchises and you have about 5 crystal franchises, okay? And you're clearing about $200,000 on each one of your crystal franchises. You work 60, you work 70 hours a week. You have to handle personnel. You have to handle purchasing, everything else. You have to, the taxes, real estate matters. But each one of the crystals employs about 20 people. So you feel pretty good about that. You're hiring employing about 100 people. You have 5 crystal franchises. And then Crystal comes to you and says, we have another franchise opportunity available to you. Would you like to open another one? You're a good franchisor. You have a good business sense. And you say, no, I can't do that. And they say, why? Because then I'll be making over $1 million a year, and the law says I'm not allowed to make over $1 million a year. So,
you could make it.
What?
But you could make it, but you would have to give it away.
Oh, so you're going to take on the extra burden of extra personnel, extra work, extra hours for nothing?
Well, if the Crystal franchise was my, entrepreneurial dream, then maybe I would.
Oh, you would just own them for the hell of it and not make any money off of them?
If that was my passion, I suppose I would, yes.
Okay. What are you studying in college?
I've graduated. I got a degree in geology.
Geology. That's good. That's good. Study your brain. It's Vishnu Schist. We'll be back.
Hosing down the great unwashed with the golden nectar of knowledge. Neal Boortz is broadcasting coast to coast.
Damn it, Belinda. I had him cut off before I hit him with the Vishnu Schist line. Darn! He knows about Vishnu Schist.
Time is running out to get your tickets for Stamp.
Okay. Newt Gingrich is going to be on with us, so he caught him between planes up at O'Hare somewhere. And if I could have callers like that last caller, I could spend 8 hours a day on the air with people like that. It's like somebody sent me a tweet, Belinda, be the cat, enjoy the toy. Okay, the caller's father just called you, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
That caller's father just made a phone call to Belinda. What did he say?
He wants his sperm back.
Okay. We'll be back. You're listening to Boortz.